Guys, welcome back. We're here for series number 2 of today's STPL, the last STPL cast of this year, and depending on how you're looking at this decade as well, which is kind of cool. We're going to be heading into our second series. It's going to be between ReV and aSh. Now, both of these teams have done pretty well for themselves so far this season. As a matter of fact, they are both 3 for 5. We'll have a look at that in a second. But overall, they're doing a lot better than they did in Season 1, so that's really good. So let's have a look at both of our teams, and we'll go into the rosters, and we'll get going. So, it is... Wait. Oh, the snowman in the back is melting, I didn't realize. That's kind of funny. But yeah, essentially... we're going to have ReV versus aSh. ReV and aSh both tied at 3 for 5. Head-to-head, though, ReV have won both of their games against aSh previously, but this was when they played against the previous aSh. In the gap between Season 1 and 2, aSh have powered up significantly, and you'll be able to see that from their roster. We're going to be starting off with a TVT between Steamy and TTF, where they're going to be heading into a PvP. Sorry, what's that? PvP between Zaz and Pro, aka Too Many Leaks. We're going to have a ZVT between APM King and Hit 'em Up. Now, it's recently come to my attention that APM King is Julia, and Julia has been smurfing as well. I don't know if it's smurfing as such, but playing as APM King, so I don't know what's happening with that, but essentially I know that Julia can be a bit of an BM player. The last time he played in the STPL under his Julia ID for Net Wars, he was quite bad-mannered to his opponent, so hopefully we're not going to see any of that here today. And then we're going to have a ZVP between Hirmu and Dreamer. Now, yeah, Hirmu is the fan favorite player that I said we're finally going to get back here in the STPL. He's not played since Season 1. He kind of took a step back for a while. It's been 9 weeks of Season 2, and he's finally here. He rejoined ReV, and he's back to playing again. But it should be good. And Edgewood is saying, "Wow, Julia found a clan. That's the biggest surprise of the year." And Ryan Metal saying, "Why are people leaving Net Wars? It's the coolest team out there." Well, I'm not too sure, but I think Julia was actually kicked out of Net Wars, so he didn't really leave as such. Now, obviously, I don't know that for sure, so please do not take that as gospel, because I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But essentially, Julia's not a very nice person. So, regardless, we're going to start with Neo Arkanoid. We saw it before. It is going to be a TVT, only our 5th one on this map overall. Throughout the STPL, it's been one of our more balanced maps. TVT on this map can go very, very long, or it can be very, very short. So we'll have to see how this one plays out. Funnily enough, one of the shortest ones we saw was SPX versus Radley, and I thought that would be our longest TVT ever. So you never know what's going to happen. Let's introduce both of our first players here. We're going to start with Steamy for ReV. He hasn't played too many games. He's only played 1 game this season, and it was against Bonneth, which he lost, which honestly I don't blame anyone for. I can't really hold that against him. But his only other game was the TVT that was back it was this year, but it was back in March in Season 1 in Round 4, and that was against Fly Mio. So not really too many games to pull his stats from or anything. And his opponent going to be for TTF, going to be for aSh, it's TTF. TTF, the player who more recently knocked Artosis out of the Corrupted Cup 2019. Only played 2 games so far, has lost both of them. They have both been TVZ though, and we saw at the Corrupted Cup how strong how strong his TVT is. So I'm looking forward to getting into this. It's going to be Steamy versus TTF here on Neo Arkanoid in game number 1. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position in the purple. Fighting for ReV here, it's going to be Steam Machine, aka Steamy. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom bottom left-hand position even. What on earth am I looking at? Fighting in the navy blue. It's TTF fighting for aSh. Now TVT can be a little bit daunting for a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people that don't like TVT very much. But overall, it's a very, very fun matchup. And pretty good. Also, I found out that Bonith hosted Lancer-X instead of the STPL. He's going in the list. I guess it's because his team aren't playing today. Well, his team would be playing if he hadn't have sold out and gone to Seoul. I'll fire shots back at Bonith. It's all good. And Cadenzi, you've had like every opportunity to get a clan. Edgewater, I can make it blue versus red if you want. I'll do that if that makes it a little bit easier for you. Yeah, let's do that. So Steamy is red, TTF is blue. I didn't mind the colors too much, but if you're having trouble reading it now. What? Okay, this is interesting. We did see Radley go for this before, but it was in TVP. Not so sure about this in TVT, I've got to admit. But I mean, you can't see me right now, but I'm kind of shrugging. I don't really know what to make of this. Now, obviously you can go for scouting racks, as Cadenzi says, but really, it's not worth it in TVT. Going for 300 minerals worth of barracks this early, unless you're going some crazy all-in, is honestly not worth it. Oh man, I don't know how to take this, because while he is going for 2 racks, TTF is doing one better and going for 2 factories. Well, this is definitely going to be a quick game. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to work in Stevie's favor. He still doesn't know where his opponent is. Now, in about 5 minutes, when this barracks gets up to his main, he's going to know where to go. But he's going to be building mass marines against someone who is going to be going mass zealots here. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Terran before, or TVT, but mass vultures, pretty good against mass. Oh, he's doing a bio all in. Okay, this is more interesting because medics actually turn the tables a little bit. If he gets range and stim as well, this is looking more and more like he's just spoken to Radley, but Radley's on aSh, so it feels like the builds are on the wrong way. But you can see that Steamy doesn't know where his opponent is. You'll see he's going to try and break through to the bottom right. Not going to be able to see that. Now, the Rax is flying in, so yep, here we go. You see he's going to pull these away. We've got a supply. For some reason, I thought this was going to be a bunker, and I would have just lost my shit. If that was a bunker, I would have been like, what? You've not got any units in your main, but here we go. He's going to break his way through the bottom left. There is no vultures yet. Goliaths. Oh, this is interesting. Goliaths. Now, he's going to see the... Look at this. He's going to see the academy blinking. He's going to be like, wait, what? He's like, hold on. This isn't right. Now, Goliaths are interesting, because I don't think I've ever seen Goliaths versus Bio before, ever. In my, 11 years of playing and watching Brood War, I don't think I've ever seen Goliaths versus Marines before. Now, Stim is going to be done. The Goliaths... Wait, he doesn't know this is coming. He doesn't know there's a proxy... Yeah, he has no idea there's a proxy Rax. Now he does, because he's just seen, but how can he confirm that? Oh my god, he's going to be dropping? Oh my god, if these Marines get in, and they can stim down this dropship, this is going to be absolutely Critical. Can he get the dropship? This would be massive. No, the dropship is going to get away. The Goliaths are going to drop down. Goliaths apparently fare pretty well against Bio, but the Marines going to be heading towards the... Oh my god, is he going to be able to get the Goliaths? No, he's... Oh, the Goliaths! The medics are able to heal. There we go. The Goliaths have held on. He didn't get the dropship either, but there is a lot of additional bio coming in here. Can he wait? Can he build up his bio count enough and come in when the Goliaths go into his main base? That is going to be the important question. He is going to have to defend with what he has back at home, which is the total of the grand total of a single Marine. There is no bunker. Okay, here we go. Oh, the Marines are getting caught off by a couple of Goliaths again. I think this game may be over. Steamy had an interesting idea. It almost worked, but went in a little bit too late. Didn't catch that dropship. If he'd killed those 4 Goliaths in that dropship, it would have been game over. Stimmed Bio takes down SCVs so quickly. But you can see these Goliaths are going to be running circles, well, I guess flying circles around these SCVs. One of them is almost dead, so good going by Steamy. I mean, these Marines, they're coming in. The Vultures being added on as well, because they absolutely annihilate... yeah, they essentially just annihilate everything to do with Bio. And I think this is going to be game. Steamy with something interesting. We just broke the 6-minute curse. So no 6-minute curse here. And it's what I see in chat that not even Terran can beat Goliaths with ground units. Now there's going to be a tank here. Or there's a second tank even. Tanks are pretty good against Goliaths in low enough numbers, but unfortunately the numbers are just going to keep increasing as more and more dropships get built, as more and more units get sent over. And if he's, yeah, so he's not going to siege, which is super important, because sieging tanks against dropships is not a position you want to be in. Now the tables have turned, and it looks like we're going to have a Marine in his opponent's base. Now, this still is a position Steamy could come back and win. It's going to be very difficult. He's 27 supply against 63. Obviously, a lot of that is in this mech. You can see a lot of SUVs have been pulled to just repair everything as well, as he is just essentially trying his best to ensure he cannot possibly lose this game in any way. And that is definitely a very good decision. Now, one of the funny things is Steamy has the option of going for Firebat drops. Now, building Firebats and sending them stimmed into an SCV mineral line is incredibly powerful. Now, I don't think we're going to see that as such, but he will scout the dropships coming in. The tanks are going to move down here, but moving down is not where they want to be. They want to be at the mineral lines. They want to be defending. And it is going to be a Firebat. But unfortunately, there's Goliaths. Now the unit's getting dropped off in the main. He's going to try and micro his tanks back, but you can see TTF already doing so much damage. 1 down, 2 down, 3 down, 3 strikes, you're out, as no more units are waiting in the wings here for Steamy. This is bound to be it. There's absolutely nothing he can do. I want to see this Firebat spawn and die, because Goliaths do a lot. Kill it. It's not going to die. GG. The Firebat lives another day, and he is the last remnant of a Bioterran in TVT. And the last Bioterran in TVT of this decade, most likely, and maybe ever again. So, well, let's see. You've seen BioTVT. I don't know what else to say. STPL does, right? I don't know why I'm trying to put on a Shamtu accent for that, but that was not a good accent whatsoever. But that was a 9-minute game. Maybe should have ended a little bit sooner than that. But both the players held on. Well, TTF held on fantastically. Steamy tried to hold on and tried to pull it back, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. Now we're going to be heading into game number 2. It's going to be a PvP on Carthage 3 as we get back from this very short break. See you guys soon. Okay, we have a ton of Matrino codes still to use, so I'm making this quick video to show you how easy it is to actually use them. So you click the Matrino link, it brings up the Matrino page, In the top right, you hit sign in. You sign in with whatever you want to. In this case, I'm going to sign in with Twitch. That'll take you back to the page, and then if you hit contribute, you put in the coupon code LSTPL. You can put a comment if you want to, and you can hit contribute right there, and it'll add it to the prize pool. Easy as pie. Okay, it's time for a quick tip. Here we have Neo Outlier. I'm going to show you how to get over these temples with a probe. I'll also do it with an SUV and a drone as well. So what you do is you essentially send the probe up to mine, you press stop, and you go to build a pylon. Now you build the pylon underneath you, so essentially it's going to push you, then you spam right click, and all of a sudden you are through. And here is the same trick with Terran. There's a couple of ways you can do this. One of them is you build a depot, and you essentially cancel building, and you just spam yourself through. You have to be kind of stuck or either on the building in the temple or there. But you can cancel that, and just to show, you can do it both ways as well. Okay, now there's a way you can do this with just 2 workers, which is the only way Zerg are able to do this. You can also do this with Protoss and Terran as well. So essentially, you get both workers lined up here. You mine with 1 worker. You send the second worker to mine just behind it, and you hit stop. It can be a little bit finicky, so don't worry if you don't get it first try. We got it. No we didn't. Yes we did. Okay, so that didn't go perfectly. You can do it a lot better than that, but it does take a little bit of practice. So just keep trying, and you will eventually get it. And you'll find it actually has quite a lot of uses in various different maps. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 2 between aSh and ReV. We've had a pretty weird game number 1, so I'm not going to go into that too much. Our map, however, is going to be Carthage 3. It's been a pretty good map so far in the STPL. TVZ, certainly the one matchup that's been a little bit one-sided, but we've had some one-sided games. And Chessy, that was definitely not my house. Like, I do not live there. And also, apologies for the lack of green screen. Where my Christmas tree is, it makes it a little bit harder to get my green screen out, so I'm just leaving it for now. And also I'm being lazy, but Carthage 3, fun map. Let's have a look at our first player here. It's going to be Zaz fighting for ReV. Now, Zaz has only got a 33% win rate over his games that he's played so far, but of course that's been a lot of games, so there's not really too much to be worried about here. In terms of win ratio against Protoss, he is 3 for 3, so pretty good for our... This is the Danish flag, isn't it? No, this is the Norwegian flag. I am so bad with flags. And Edgewater saying this is the worst profile picture. I think this one's the best. A lot of effort went into this one. No, sorry, I can't say this is the best because Mitax one exists. So Mitax is definitely the best. Now, Zaz's opponent fighting for aSh is going to be Pro, aka Too Many Links. He says, my life friar hasn't won a single game so far, but been up against some very strong opponents in Reina, Pinkbrush, and Yeti. So without further ado, let's get into game number 2. It's Too Many Links versus Zaz here on Carthage 3. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we have in the black, fighting for ReV, it's Zaz. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand position, we have, in the olive green, fighting for aSh, it's Too Many Leaks. Now, funnily enough, that color is the same color as my green screen, so I'm going to have to pick a different one for him on the overlay. But hopefully this will be conveyed well enough. And is this visible? Yes it is. There we go. And Elfunk, Wales is the legitimate country. They are their own country. Yes, they are part of the United Kingdom, but I can't see the United Kingdom lasting another 50 years anyway, so there we go. Wales aren't a state or anything. The United Kingdom are actually separate countries, unlike the United States, which are a set of not quite big enough to be countries, although some of them are. I really don't understand how the United States work. Like, are the states individually? They're not counted as countries, are they? They're just... I guess they're just states, technically. States of being. So they have their... The states have their own governments, right? And then they have, like, the big national government. Jesse telling me to read some frickin' Hamilton. I don't even know what Hamilton is. Okay, it's PvP. We've got mirror builds coming up for both players, so not really... Oh, wait, there's no core yet for Too Many Leaks, so... Not quite mirror builds. Looks like Too Many Leaks wants to go for a quick expansion here, maybe? Nope, there is the core. It's just very, very late compared to Zoz's. That's interesting. A Chess saying I need my tea. Yes, I do. I usually avoid drinking tea while I'm casting because it always makes me nasally, but that seems to be happening anyway, so maybe that doesn't make a difference. I need to find... One of my goals for 2020 is to find out what makes me nasally while I'm speaking so much, because whenever I'm casting, especially solo, my voice gets more and more nasally throughout the entire cast, and it's really frustrating because it makes it a lot harder to cast properly. So we're a series and a little bit in. We've got a full series and over a half of one to go. So we could be hearing from white. Now I apologize for the colors. I know olive green isn't that great on this map, but we've got 2 probes going down here for Zaz. Too Many Links with 4 probe advantage now, doing a pretty good job back at home. But the upgrades for Dragoon range is obviously a lot quicker for Zaz here. Second gateway coming in for Too Many Leaks as well, so Too Many Leaks definitely doing really well. I should definitely call him pro though, because Too Many Leaks is really hard to say over and over again. And thanks Chess for the 4 bits, man. I know you say it's all you've got, but it means a lot. I don't know how much 4 bits actually is in like real money. I guess it's like 4 pence, right? Or 4 cents or something. I don't actually know how bits work. I have no idea. I'm very thankful when people give them, but I don't know how they like correlate to actual currency. Okay, and I really need to avoid chat now before I say something that I regret, because I don't like political discussions because I'm very politically motivated, and the way things have been going the last year have been absolutely awful. It's been very, very depressing the way, especially the UK, has turned in. Well, I guess it's been like the last 3 years. And the rise of nationalism across Europe is very, very worrying, and it's also incredibly stupid. Like, the way I've always viewed humanity, we need less borders, we need to be more integrated with each other. Like, having borders achieves absolutely nothing. Now we've got Zaz pushing through the middle of the map with a good number of Dragoons. Pro is going to lose this probe out in the middle. We're going to have an engagement here on the high ground, which is going to go pretty well, I'd say, for Pro. He does have the first shots, so is getting the better end of this engagement. Definitely a problem for Zaz, who was down a gateway for quite a while, and is going to pull back with the tail between his legs as he falls back to his other Dragoons, and that is going to give Pro the opportunity to go for this expansion. Now, there we go, perfectly on 400 minerals, even while microing. Very, very important you can do that. Now, it is 3 gateways for Zaz, so Zaz, if the tables turn, he is going to be able to go in and push on this Nexus, but does need to get the better end of an engagement first. And the way this is going for both players so far, I would definitely give Pro the edge. Pro has more units, the spread is better. It's 5 versus 3 now, 5 versus 4. As 3 reinforcements do come in. It's 4 versus 4, 4 versus 3, 3 versus 3. Oh my god, the misfire. 3 versus 2, 2 versus 2. How is Pro? No, Pro's not going to win this engagement. There we go. Pro has lost all of his Dragoons, but Zaz did not get the trade that he wanted. He didn't get the massive swing of units in his favor, and this means the 3 gate. He's going to be up against ReV. There is going to be a Citadel, so it is going to be DT, but Observatory is already done for his opponent. And I think this is very well looking like a quick victory here for Pro, and a quick lead in the series for Too Many Leaks, because Zaz, unfortunately, just getting caught off guard in that first engagement. The second engagement not going as well as maybe it could have done. And there we go. So the Citadel finishing obviously going to be quite strong, but the Observer already coming in. If Zaz sees this, he should just skip Templar Tech, but he's kind of stuck. He has to do something, and that something is going to be DTs, but he's up against ReV already. There should be a shuttle coming in after this, maybe even double ReV. Yeah, it's going to be double ReV just to help defend. And unfortunately, Zaz just isn't going to be able to do anything. I mean, Zaz took a little bit of damage early on to his probe line, which definitely didn't help. He's never really fully recovered from that. And Pro has just taken that advantage and rode it all the way to the bank because he's now up in expansion. He is way ahead in tech. I think he's even got a similar number of Dragoons. And that's going to be all she wrote, I feel. Now, of course, TTF took a quick victory in game number 1. It looks like game number 2 could be a quick victory as well. There is Storm coming in. Now, Storm can be the great equalizer in a PvP, but the trouble is, Zaz is only just now getting an expansion. Only just now getting this pylon out the front. There's no forge or anything, so there'll be no cannons. And there's nothing building on any of the gateways. Zaz is actually supply blocked right now. Now, is Zaz going to try and double expand? It looks like he is. Now, double expanding necessarily isn't a good move, but when you're behind, you have 2 options. You either go all in, which Zaz knows is not going to work, or you play super greedy and hope you get away with it. And that's going to be the choice here. Double expanding here for Zaz. Defending against the ReVs is going to be the important thing. But Zaz knows there's no shuttle just yet, because he's not seen a shuttle at the front of the base. He's not seen a shuttle pick up any of the ReVs. Now, if he pushes in, this DT going down immediately. But he sees both of the ReVs, so he knows back at home he's pretty safe. Doesn't have to worry about too much. There is a robo coming in, and there should be additional bases coming in as well. Well, not bases, but additional gateways soon as well. But this double expansion, it's going to go without aggression from Pro for a little bit. At least until the shuttle's done. And there is no shuttle on the way, so if Zaz has to make a move to get back into this game, it's definitely this. Now, the important thing to note is if Zaz can keep these expansions alive without taking any damage, he can actually definitely come back in this game. It's going to be hard, but he's going to have Storm. He's going to have Storm drop eventually. And the longer the game goes on, the better it's going to get for Zos, because Pro is just only now pushing out into the middle of the map. He's going to find a DT at the top of the ramp, so he's going to be able to kill that, but there's no third base for Pro yet. He's up 30 supply, nearly 40 or 40 supply now, so that obviously is a massive, massive advantage, but oh, he's actually going to DTs of his own. This is a very, very clever move, but the DT's getting caught in the buildings in the middle of the map. A little bit unfortunate, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now, the two ReVers here aren't able to really push across the map without a shuttle. The shuttle finally coming in. Now the two DTs are going to run past Zos's DT. I wonder if Zos is going to see this. Obviously he won't see them on the mini-map. Oh, there is an observer here. Okay, this is very, very lucky. Now unfortunately, Pro is now going to see that there is a third base. The DT is going to jump on this probe line. Oh, they're not going to follow them entirely. This is a little bit unfortunate. But wait, there's an observer here, but he's not doing anything about the DTs. Why the... Oh, it's his observer, isn't it? Of course it is. Oh my god, the DT's getting into the base. He's going to do so much damage. 9 kills, 10 kills. Oh, the High Templar goes down as well. This is bound to be GG. There is an observer finally here, but the DTs could actually kill both of these zealots if they both got into the right place. Another probe going down, 11 kills, 12 kills. The second... Where the hell did the second DT go? The second DT is waiting just out of reach here. But Pro's army going over here to the third base. This is going to be the nail in the coffin. Zos has a lot of units, but unfortunately it's not enough to stand up against what Pro has. He's going to be fighting low ground to high ground. The DT coming into the natural, 14 kills, 15 kills. This is the main, 16 kills, 17 kills, and 18 kills. Now let's have a look at this engagement in the middle. Can Zos get the better end of this? He's had a long time of building a lot of zealot, or a lot of units out of 3 gateways, but unfortunately I think this may just be a little bit too much. He's taken so much damage. All of his probes are down in the main. All of his probes are down in the third base. And if this DT runs over the natural, there's absolutely nothing Zos can do about it. He is getting the better ending of the engagement on the ground, at least for now, but more units coming in from the top. GG, Zos taps out, and Pro takes game number 2. There we have it. That was a pretty... I'd say that's a weird PvP, because yes, Zos took damage early on, but did he take that much... Like, did he take enough damage to both lose 2 Dragoon engagements and then be down in not only tech and expansions? I don't think he did, so I'm not really sure what happened there to cause that. We're going to be going into a TVZ between one of our fan favorites in the STPL, Hit 'em Up, against Julia. So Julia definitely has a lot of anti-fans, because Julia not exactly the most popular player in the Brood War scene and outside of Korea. But let's actually go into a quick break, and I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes for game number 3. Did you know it was possible to drop behind the naturals in Fighting Spirit? It's a bit finicky to land in the right place. You essentially need to... There's very specific spots in each of the spawns, which I'm going to try and show you here.
Hang on, we're in for some chop. I copy that.
There we go, there's one. So I believe there's actually more spots than this, but essentially it's quite hard to do. So you've got one here. I found 2 over here. There's also one here as well. You can also drop, I think, in this location. One thing to point out is the ghost cannot actually move, but of course what it does give you the option of doing is it allows you to nuke. is orange. Hello guys, welcome back to the STPL Season 2. Once again, huge thank you to our sponsors Liquipedia for bringing us $500 towards the initial prize pool, and they're also working on a few things for a bracket contest and stuff like that. So why do I get the feeling? Yeah, I don't think that's actually Julia. Wait, what do you mean I wasn't letting the pro tips finish? You want to see a new... Oh, I see what you mean. I do edit videos, but I use Adobe After Effects. I know After Effects isn't exactly the one you're supposed to edit videos with. I think it's more supposed to be for effects, but it's one I have. I know how to use it. It seems to work, so whatever, right? But if you're wondering, my cat is also behind me, Jess, given the fact you're excited to see Lottie in the video. So regardless, let's have a look at both of our players. I'm not 100% sure if Julia the Lagger is actually him. I would highly doubt it, but if it is, he is going to be one of our players here fighting for ReV under the username APM King. So let's actually have a quick look here. So Julia's only game for ReV so far was on Desperado, where he played against Perfume, one of the better players on Soul. He did lose there and lost 17 ELO. So not really too much else to say there, but his opponent fighting for aSh, it's going to be one of their star players here in Hit 'em Up. Logan also was, up until recently, one of our very, very generous patrons, which is really, really cool. He's the captain of aSh. He kind of joined them at the end of Season 1 where they were really struggling, and he has built an incredibly strong team. aSh this season are doing so much better. And I mean, this is a TVZ, and if you look at Hit 'em Up score, he's 6 for 1 against Zerg, so that's ridiculous. Winning 6 games and losing 1 against Zerg, to me at least, because I'm awful, is just incredible. Like, for me, it'd be like 1-6 the other way around, but Hit 'em Up is doing pretty well. And I know that Up Magic did end up being a match fixer, but he was a really cool Terran player, so there we go. Well, let's have a look at the map quickly. We won't go into it too much. It's Desperado. We've seen it a lot so far. We've seen it already today, but there we go. TVZ is tied up 2 for 2, so this is going to be the tiebreak here. Think of this as the TVZ ace match for Desperado. As we get into game number 3, it's Hit 'em Up versus Julia on Desperado. Okay, starting us off here in the top right hand position, we do have in the Peach fighting for ReV. It's APM King, aka Julia. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left hand position, we do have the Red Terran fighting for aSh. It's their captain, Hit 'em Up, aka Logan. Now, of course, this is our second series. We're just over halfway. This is game number 3 of our second series today. If you're looking forward to Net Wars versus Valhalla team, we've got a minimum of 2 more games after this one. Obviously, if Hit 'em Up wins, this is match point, but we will still have Hinemu versus Dreamer. And then we'll be going into Net Wars versus Valhalla team. I know we had someone here earlier looking forward to the Net Wars one, so... Hellgated asks, who does it favor the most, having 2 gases in your main? I would say Zerg. But obviously it makes it a little bit harder to expand. Now, if Terran goes mech, it favors them, but Bio doesn't really gain too much from having 1 base with 2 gases. As Bio, you want more minerals, so you're going to want to take the mineral only anyway. Mech, you can sit on 1 base for a while on 2 gases. You mainly need the natural for the gas in TVZ, so... Zerg definitely benefit a little bit more because it makes it a little bit easier to secure 3 gases. Compared to like a normal game where you'd have to take your main and natural, you only have to take your main early on. You can take the natural if you want, and it looks like Julie is going to do that. But it's not a massive deal if you can't get this base. Obviously, you don't want to be on one base as Zerg anyway, but when you take your third base, you're guaranteed a third gas, and before then, you're guaranteed a second gas. So, Spire play a little bit better. And Avi, I don't know who told me it was Julia, but someone did. I need to figure out who it was. I think it was Hit 'em Up that may have told me it was Julia. I guess we'll find out, but it is, the APM could be high because if it is Julia, it's Poland versus Canada, which is quite far, so. And Edgewater saying Hit 'em Up only plays mech, so he should be feeling pretty good about this map. Certainly. Now I know Hit 'em Up has been playing tons, but he actually wants to step back a little bit. But he wanted to make sure that his legacy of aSh was held up. Obviously he's going to continue being their captain, but he doesn't want to play as often. But they've got so many good players now.
Woo woo.
Thank you, Hienmu, for the 28th month sub, man. Means so much. You're actually one of my founders, which is kind of crazy. The founder system is so strange. Like, I could not remember who my initial subs were, but it turns out you were one of the 25 of them, or 15 of them, or whatever. Oh, okay. Ariador saying it's not Julia, so everything I've said is wrong. So APM King is APM King. Let's go with that. Maybe Hit 'em Up saw the APM and just thought that was Julia or something. I'm not too sure. Someone's saying it's True Touch. True Touch smurfing. But the thing, like, True Touch is a weird situation. Like, he's in a weird situation right now because I believe he's going to be playing in BSL, although I'm not sure if he's 100% relinquishing his position. And he's basically told NetWars he doesn't want to take place in any team leagues anymore. So whether or not that means he's quitting forever or if he's just sort of taking a little bit of a break. I mean, he was one of the more active Zergs in the foreign scene for many years. It's been about 3 or 4 years, I think, since he started being super active. And unlike Eon Zerg, True Touch, it always felt like this game was kind of secondary for him because I think he has a pretty good job. Whereas Eon Zerg, obviously, his job is streaming. Like, I don't know, I can't comment on how well he does, but he is one of the best foreign Zerg players. And I know he enjoys streaming, so I think that's the big difference. Like, True Touch isn't a big streamer. Like, he has streamed a few times, but it never feels like it's his thing, whereas Eon Zerg kind of fits the... It's weird, because obviously I'm essentially, like, not a proper streamer, because this is my second job or whatever. But it feels like if I was thinking about different types of streamers, I would definitely say Eon Zerg fits the mold more than True Touch does. And that was essentially a long way of saying it's not True Touch, but you get the point. Okay, so Logan gonna push forward. I know it does look like he is going mech, but he did build quite a lot of Marines here. Now, this is an interesting move because he's going to move out with a lot of Marines. This is going to make APM King think that this is going to be a bio build, but in fact, there are 3 speedy vultures heading their way over. There is no creep colony, well, there is creep colonies, but there's no sunkens. Oh my god, this is going to be so much damage. 3 vultures breaking into the maybe 3. Oh, not getting that drone, but going to get it. Oh my god, missing a few shots. Gonna get 2 drones, 3 drones, gonna get 4 drones, 5 drones. Sunkens at the front have finished, but look at this, there's a position on the high ground above these. And Logan is in his element right now. This is exactly where he wants to be. And the vultures, 2 of them do get taken out. I completely missed how quickly they died, but we've got a single vulture in the main base. It is a little bit harder to actually micro vultures against lings when you have speed, but he's going to be able to take out a good number of these lings before then. He's going to get away continuously for the time being. Now, is Hit 'em Up macroing properly back at home while this is going on? This is definitely a hang-up that a lot of Terran players have. They sit there, they micro their vultures forever, but then they let everything else slip. There's no upgrades coming on his armory. He is on 3 factories, so the 2 gases definitely going to help him out here. Now we've got a lot of Lings heading out here to hit 'em up's natural. This is going to be pretty good. He should be able to cancel or at least stop this expansion. No, he's going to pull back. He doesn't want to lose the Lings. Does need to be careful. It is a lot of Marines here, actually. Okay, I don't know why he chose to engage there, but he is going to pull back. Speed is done. Did lose quite a few drones, so does need to drone up pretty heavily behind this. And now the two gases coming into play here for both players now, as you can see. The Lings getting pulled back in. Just when they thought they were out, they keep getting pulled back in here at the front. Hit him up with the second base now. 3 factories still going. +1 attack is going to be the upgrade of choice here now. +1 armor is usually better for Goliaths against Mutalisks. But if we see APM King going for a carapace upgrade, then the +1 attack is obviously going to help a little bit. But obviously, you really want both your upgrades, 1-1, yeah, carapace upgrade starting immediately from APM King. So usually the 1-1 upgrade you want around 11 minutes, I think it is. I don't know if Cadenzi's here to confirm, but she was the one that told me that. And Logan is, or Hit 'em Up, is getting stronger and stronger in this game because the more Terran is left to their own devices. I mean, this is a Mutalisk build, but the Mutalisks are 2 minutes late. Even on 3 hatches, the Mutalisk should have been at Hit 'em Up space about 2 minutes ago. And that is unbelievably strong for Hit 'em Up here, because Hit 'em Up is able to go into more and more Goliaths. Charon boosters have been finished for a little bit now. +1 attack is going to be done. He's faced no aggression whatsoever, so the turrets, a little bit wasteful I guess, but obviously later on they're going to help out. But that is 5 turrets, which he doesn't necessarily need. Academy is finally coming in. Marines scouting around for a 3rd base. And APM King, I mean, he's just kind of running around with Lings, not really able to find too much. Now this is certainly one of the weirder games we've had, just because it doesn't feel like Hit 'em Up should be in this situation right now. It's almost like APM King just kind of didn't go into Mutalisk for some reason earlier. I mean, he did have to build 5 Sunkens, so that obviously delayed things a lot. And he did lose a few drones, but I mean, it was only like 3 drones, 4, 5, maybe 5 drones he lost. So Marine going to scout out this 3rd base. Hit 'em Up, obviously going to have a little bit more trouble expanding to a 3rd gas. Looks like APM King. Nope, I thought that was a drone. Yeah, I mean, when, as Elfunk just pointed out in chat, essentially when you look at the saturation from the Zerg, this side is oversaturated, this side is undersaturated. There isn't even a drone per mineral, I think. Maybe there is. Yeah, this mineral isn't being mined, I don't believe. That's a little bit unfortunate. And we've got a lot of mines out the front. Obviously the Mutalisk should be able to help clean these up, or Lynx would just run through everything. Now, this is, as weird as that was actually really, really nice seeing Magic Box Mutalisks. Because you rarely ever get to see that. It's always stacked, so... Now, APM King going to be building up to a 3rd base. The 3rd base is done. The Vaults unable to get up there, as the Mutalisks are going to be able to block them. But the trouble is, how does APM King deal with this army? +1 attack is done. +1 armor hasn't started. Big mistake by Hit 'em Up. He needs to make sure he gets that on time next time. Obviously, if I was in his position, I would definitely not get +1 armor on time. But there we go. Just a little hint in case he's watching. But I mean, this is such a big Terran army. I'm really, really unsure how it would even be possible for APM King to beat this army. I mean, this is a lot of Mutalisks. They do have +1 carapace. But look how many Goliaths there are. I mean, this is just too many Goliaths, right? There's going to be tanks shelling down on the natural, or the 3rd base even. The Mutalisks flying in, taking a ton of damage, not really doing too much themselves. There is... Wait, I thought there was over a control group of Mutalisks here, but apparently I can't count, because that is definitely not... The 3rd base is being given up on... that's because there's 2 groups of Mutalisks, that's why. But it looks like we are going to have a big counterattack coming in here by EPM King. There is going to be a missile turret coming up at the front. And a lot of hit-em-ups units going to get caught off guard. So this counterattack could do a lot. The SCVs coming out here to soak up some of those glaives here, as well as deal with the lings. But unfortunately, I mean, APM King's got a lot of mutalists and a lot of APM, but not much of much else. Looks like Hit 'em Up has cleaned up the 12 o'clock base. He's sending his units back. The Goliath's going to get into the main. But with a good number of turrets, with a good number of Goliaths coming back home, he should be able to hold on to this. Down to 12 mutalists is our Zerg hero. And I think this is all she wrote. This is what this is where the cookie crumbles. And it looks like aSh are going to take a 3-0 in this series. Now, I obviously don't like calling games too early, and I realize I'm calling this one super early, but he just doesn't have anything that can deal with all these Goliaths. He's just not got the numbers. He doesn't have the money. I mean, more units coming up from the front, the lings could actually really help out here. But just look at how many Goliaths there are, and look how many mutalists there are. There we go. GG. APM King taps out, and Hit 'em Up wins game number 3. Well, this has certainly turned out to be one of the more one-sided series. I genuinely didn't think this series would go this way, which is why I did it second. But aSh are doing so well. They've definitely powered up from Season 1. Season 1 they struggled so much, but their roster is filled with so many good players that it's getting really difficult to beat them. Now, we're going to go into game number 4. It's going to be Dreamer versus Hinamu, so we're going to have a little bit of a fan favorite player come back. One of my favorite players to watch as well. He's not played since Season 1, and we'll be bringing that to you just after this very short break. Let me just quickly go over to one, and I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Okay, we have a ton of Matrino codes still to use, so I'm making this quick video to show you how easy it is to actually use them. So you click the Matrino link, it brings up the Matrino page. In the top right, you hit sign in. You sign in with whatever you want to. In this case, I'm going to sign in with Twitch. That'll take you back to the page, and then if you hit contribute, you put in the coupon code STPL. You can put a comment if you want to, and you can hit contribute right there, and it'll add it to the prize pool. Easy as pie. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 4. It's aSh versus ReV. We're going to have Hinamu versus Dreamer. I'm now losing my voice. It's also getting quite late, but there we go. That's just how things go. But if we have a look at our players here, the map is going to be Neo Outlier. I'll just quickly bring that up very fast, just so you guys can have a look at it. But essentially, Neo Outlier hasn't changed. CVP definitely in favor of the Protoss players here. Our players going to be Hinamu fighting for ReV. His quote is "I am hungover," so that's something that's quite funny. He's also got a pretty good picture, so can't hate that. He's only got a 30% win rate overall, but he came out nearly every week in Season 1 for FPW and Team 9 when he played for them. He played some incredibly fun games, especially his games on Plasma last season were very good, which is why I like to call him a fan favorite. Maybe he isn't, but also he is a very active member of the FPW community, so a lot of people know who he is. 4 wins, 9 losses against Protoss, but he's very tenacious. It's been a while since he's last played. You can see his last game was in March, so We'll have to see if he's leveled up since then, or if he's got a little bit more rusty. His opponent going to be Dreamer. Now, Dreamer came out, he did lose to Zero in the initial STPL Christmas Cup number 2, but overall he is a pretty good player on aSh. He used to play for MSJ. When MSJ dropped out, he joined aSh, and here he is. He's done well so far this season. Pretty much this season he's had nearly a 50% win rate. His win rate's a little bit lower due to his older games for MSJ, and they gave a lot of walkovers, so luckily enough he's been super active. 2 wins, 4 losses against Protoss, but 45% win rate overall. Looking forward to getting into game number 4. It's Dreamer versus Hirmu. Also, Hellgated, I guess you're somewhere in Europe, because for me it's over 24 hours until 2020. Okay, starting us off here in the middle of the map, or in the top middle of the map, in the green, fighting for aSh, it's gonna be Dreamer. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right hand position, fighting for ReV. It's gonna be Hirmu fighting for ReV. I just said fighting for ReV twice. Oh my god. Abby just pointed out, I've been talking to Hellgate all this time and I've been calling him Hellgated because I thought your name was Hellgated K, but it's Hellgate DK. Man, I am so dumb. DK Danish Kingdom. Whoops! Also, Edgewater pointed out that the first OSL was won almost exactly 20 years ago. It would have been 20 years ago in Korea. It was on 30th of December 1999, and it was won by a player called Free Mirror in South Korea, which is crazy. 20 years have passed, and here I am, an amateur caster, not famous at all, casting in front of 100 wonderful people in the audience. I mean, how does it get better than that? How on earth is Brood War still here? Because it's a good game. That's how. Okay, so we had a pylon block on the natural hatchery, so we've got Hirmu taking the 3rd hatchery, as is natural. I really should have stood up in between those breaks, because now my back is starting to hurt. I need a new desk chair, so if anyone in chat has any suggestions on a comfortable desk chair, please throw them at me, because that is going to be my next purchase, along with a 2nd screen, because I badly need both. Now Dreamer likely going to escape with his probe out here with a pylon. Nope, just going to move it around. Now Hirmu going to go to 3 hatch after pull, but 3 hatch still very strong regardless. Are we going to see Hirmu going for an aggressive opening here, or is he going to play a little bit more standard? Looks like we've got a very standard build back home for Dreamer. He went Forge Cannon Nexus into a gateway, so not really too much to say there. And yeah, Jesse, the first maps, like, people say the first maps are garbage, but back then they weren't. Like, people look at Lost Temple today and think, well, this is complete garbage, but they worked. They worked because the game was different. 20 years ago, Brood War was not what it is today. Like, macro, like, as a concept, didn't really become a major thing until I Love Uv and Nada's era. There was an entire era of Brood War, an entire 2 eras of Brood War, I would say, because you kind of have you have like the greatest generation of Brood War, which people call as Boxer. But before Boxer, you had the kind of generation everyone forgets about with players like Zergboy, I guess Freemer as well, where people just don't even remember them. Like I saw there was an ESPN article I think recently about esports in Korea, and there was an article with an interview with one of the first Brood War pro gamers, and essentially no one knows who cares who he is anymore. It's really sad because they kind of paved the way for people like Boxer to come. Obviously, Boxer was what really set things going because Boxer was so unbelievably popular that he essentially made Brood War an esport fully. Like, he kept the game alive. Now, how on earth did that drone die after that Zealot stopped swinging? I don't get how that worked, but oh well. It may have been Framer, actually, who had that interview. I'm trying to remember. It was a really sad interview because essentially, while like players who come after him, like Yellow, went on to get like either TV careers or they became commentators, like the Marine did, for instance. Like, he participated and won in a tournament, or won a tournament, or won a few tournaments, and then everyone just kind of forgot they existed. That was it. There wasn't really the infrastructure to give them a career to follow up in esports. Wasn't really a big thing back then. Like, people, like, there's many newer fans who just don't really understand what esports was before things like League came along. Like, I know League is massive and it's massive worldwide, but Brood War was that in Korea before. Like, Korea, like Brood War filled stadiums, like stadiums full of people. It was televised on national television. It was just crazy. But even then, like before that happened, yeah, there were gaming competitions, but they didn't really do anything. Like, they were small. Obviously, the OSL was the first major tournament, I think, in Korea. Before you kind of got into the other big tournaments like the MSL and Pro League and whatnot. But before all that, like, there wasn't really any major esports. Like, you obviously had the Quake scene outside of Korea, that was pretty big. But even then, that wasn't like esports level, it was just tournament level. And Avi makes an excellent point. Would Boxer have been as popular without his rivalry with Yellow? I'm not too sure. Obviously, it would be interesting to find out if we had like a kind of way. One thing I've always wished that we could make, and I don't know if this would actually be bad, is a machine that could show us what would have happened if there was an episode of Futurama about this, I'm fairly certain, like with the Thinglonger, where essentially you look back at the past, but look at what the present day would look like if something didn't happen the way it did. That would be amazing. And Hellgate, I'm with you. Like, if I could cast without the supplies on, I would. I prefer not seeing the supply, but essentially most people do, so that's why we leave it on. And obviously now we've got the work account and stuff, which makes things a little bit easier to cast, so I'm not going to complain. We've got a lair coming in here for Hirumu. Oh wait, I completely missed this. There's a forward fourth base. So this fourth base is going to be used as a staging ground to push into Dreamer's bases. Not only that, it can be used to sunken push up to here and lurker contain. So I think that's probably what we're going to see. There's a fourth hatchery, a fifth hatchery even, on the way here. Creep colony coming up. Lurker aspect is on the way. And as Elfunk points out, the problem with the early years of esports was internet wasn't really a thing. Like, it wasn't a major thing anyway. You obviously had dial-up, but even if you could connect to other people, which was difficult, it would be very laggy. like I've seen people, and this is more like me sounding like a boomer here, but essentially like I started gaming online quite late anyway. I started around 2003, which for a lot of people was really late. And I remember when like having 200 ping was normal. Like that was like, okay, it's fine. 200, that's quite low. It's all good. Now you see people are like, oh, over 30 ping. Oh, this is unplayable. It's so laggy. And it's like, really? Really? Like they just don't know what it's like. It's like back when I first started using the internet, Google wasn't the main search engine, I don't think. Like, you still had a choice. Like, I used a mix of Yahoo and Ask Jeeves because Google wasn't all that great. And then Google just became all-encompassing, and now they own the internet, essentially. But here we go. Oh, looks like I did miss a good couple of storms. Sorry about that, guys. I was too busy reminiscing about a time before Google. But looks like this base has been taken down. Let's check the kills. So 5 kills. Only 5 kills on that storm. Not too impactful. But that 4th base obviously getting taken down now. I do feel like this has kind of maybe put a dent in Hyunwoo's plan here, but we'll have to see how that goes. Funny thing, like, I'm going to ask a question now to chat, and this is going to sound a bit weird, but can you guys think of a single usable search engine which isn't Google now? Because Bing is absolutely garbage, and like Bing is just full of sponsored content essentially, and I don't know of any others that even exist. Like Yahoo is still a thing, but it's not that great anymore. Yahoo's still pretty good in Japan because they're still pretty popular in Japan, so if you want to find some in Japanese, Yahoo's a good shout if you can't find it somewhere else. But it's pretty much all Google now, so yeah, Shimmer saying that he thinks that all other search engines gave up. I guess that's probably true. That is the problem with monopolies. When one company gains too much power, it removes competition. Not that competition is a big thing on my agenda, given the fact I push for like socialized healthcare, I push for nationalized like railway and stuff, but I mean that's because even though there's no monopoly on the railway in the UK, the private companies that actually own the railway, aren't even like companies from this country, so they don't use the service and they just don't give a shit. And there's obviously no way anyone can compete with them because they own the entire line, so there's not really too much can do. So oh, Superfriend BFG is saying DuckDuckGo even lets you search through Google without all the analytics. That's kind of cool. And yeah, Shimmer says like a nationalized service doesn't have to make money, but any profits go back into the service, which is why nationalized services are good. Because none of the profits go back to the infrastructure, especially in the UK. Now, Hyunwoo is going into muteless here, going to be able to fly into the 3rd base, maybe do a little bit of damage. Now, this 3rd base for Dreamer is quite late. That 4th base from Hyunwoo did delay that quite well. Oh no, the Storm. Oh, the Archon. Oh, the Archon on the Storm doing so much damage there. The Muteless going to be completely neutered for at least another minute or so while they regen all their health. And it looks like Dreamer's going to try and push in. This is a lot of lurkers here, but is it going to be enough? And Hyunwoo saying this is what happens when you play WoW. Well, do you remember when Stork in like 2009 went into a massive slump? And it's because he was addicted to World of Warcraft. It's that again, but it's Hyunwoo instead. Ling's going to be moving forward, going to help out a little bit against this army. And it does look like Hyunwoo is going to be able to hold on now. And I mean, holding on is pretty good because the 4th and 5th bases are coming up down here for the bottom left for Hyunwoo. I know he was saying He's been a lot into WoW recently, so hasn't played as much, but given how he's doing in this game, honestly, you're doing really well, so I'm kind of excited to see where you're going to go from here if you start playing a little bit more actively again. Looks like Dreamer is going to sniff out this 4th and 5th base, so they will go down. A little bit unfortunate for Hienru here, but Hienru is tenacious, likely going to stay in the game despite losing another 4th base. And if he can get into the right position, he's going to be able to trap Dreamer's army here. So let's see if that's what Hienru goes for. Oh, Dreamer's going to leave the bottom left main. Dreamer doesn't believe there should be a base down there yet, and that could bite him. Yeah, and Elfung saying Stork also suffered massive financial loss. Yeah, that was also a factor, but before then it was WoW. Because I think the financial loss happened after Professional Brood War, as far as I'm aware. Because was Stork the player whose parents gambled all his money away on really bad investments? I think that was him, wasn't it? Which is really sad. This Jangmi wasn't paid enough, if I remember right, and that was his problem. Like, Khan was a really good team, but they really messed up a few things. Okay, so looks like we're going to have another big engagement. Dreamer pushing in. Nice storms for him as Hienru moves more and more units forward. The Lurker actually running immediately into the storm. An absolute boss Lurker, but it looks like there may be a little bit too much here. Although the Lurkers in the back are holding strong. There is a couple more Lurkers coming in here. Well, 3 to be exact. And the Observers are still alive, so it's a little bit unfortunate. So the Lurkers should go down. But another High Templar going down. More and more reinforcements spawning in. There's a lot coming in from the natural here. And this is a lot of Lings here. Now, is Adrenaline done? Yes, it is, it looks like. So these Dragoons are going to be melting. Lings are very, very strong. Now, more units coming in from the back. There is a Lurker back here. Going to be doing so much damage. This is such a long engagement. I want to look around to see what's happening. Looks like we are going to have a 4th base coming up for Dreamer. But it looks like Hienru holds on. Okay, so we got the 4th base coming up here for Dreamer. The bottom left base is up. There should be a Nidus Canal coming up fairly soon to here as well, which will help defend against this. But it looks like a probe is going to move down here and scout this base out. This is a little bit unfortunate for Hienru. But once again, he's killed a lot of the army of his opponent, so it's going to be a little bit more hard, or a little bit harder for Dreamer to push down here into the bottom left. We've now been streaming for about nearly 3 hours. That's kind of crazy. If I was working tomorrow, I would definitely be saying we're not doing the next series just because it is Monday. But luckily enough, I took Tuesday, the 31st of December off, and that's because I'm going to be watching the next Gaki no Tsukai Waratte Wakenai New Year's special, which should be tomorrow about 9 AM for me, so that should be fun. I've watched it like every year for the past like 5 years, and it never fails to make me laugh. So there we go. Looks like the bottom left base is going to go down. The extra hatchery has been cancelled, but Hienru, while these units are up here, is going to go in for a big counter-attack. There is, of course, Storm here, which is very strong. 2 armor is actually done for the Protoss player now. Let's check the upgrades. It's 3-2 against 1-1. Looks like Dreamer's going to be able to hold on here. The Link's not doing too much to the probe line. And Dreamer holds on yet again. There is news on ASL. They said there's going to be a map test tournament. That's going to be on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of January. So that's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Shine is hosting that. And it looks like ASL is going to start, or at least the qualifiers, on the 14th of January, if I remember correctly. Someone posted it on Team Liquid today. Okay, it looks like Hienru could get busted this time. There is still a ton of Lurkers, though. And Lurkers obviously very, very strong units against clumped up Protoss units. But with 3 observers here, there is no way that Dreamer isn't going to be able to break through here. If a lot of Lings come in, he has Storm to deal with it. And it looks like the 3rd base may go down. Yeah, and the map test tournament, there's going to be some team melee action as well, which should be fun. Think of it as like a New Year tournament as well, which is kind of cool. Now, somehow Hienmu's base isn't dead yet, but I'm fairly certain it's only a matter of time. There we go. GG, Hienmu taps out, and Dreamer wins game number 4 to take the 4-0 sweep in favor of ReV. So, sorry, in favor of aSh even. Wow. Ooh. Hopefully no one was listening to that. But yeah, it's going to be a 4-0 sweep in favor of aSh. I would say previously, if this was Season 1, I would say this was a massive upset. But genuinely, aSh have done so well so far this season. And you can tell by the results here today. Obviously, the games have been a little bit more one-sided. But that's the way the cookie can crumble sometimes. Well, let's have a look at the results. Then we'll head into a quick break before we go into series number 3. So a 4-0 sweep, TTF winning over Steamy, Too Many Leaks winning over Zars, Hit 'em Up winning over APM King, and Dreamer winning over Hienmu. And that's going to take us to a 4-0 victory in favor of aSh, and that's going to move them a little bit up the table as we head into series number 3 when we get back after this short break. See you guys very soon.